Hello, hello, hello everybody. It's Ronnie with Whip and Chain. I work with Maggie and Lauren to bring you fun, educational crochet tutorials. This one is a Tunisian stitch. This is called the Tunisian crossover stitch. It's a very pretty stitch. This is a coaster that I did not block yet that I have done for a small sample. So we're going to dive into this, but I have used a regular crochet hook because I did a small swatch. If you're going to be doing a large blanket with this stitch, you will need the Tunisian hooks, and you can get them everywhere. All the box stores, Amazon, all of them have them. So let's dive right into this. Well, hello everybody. It's Ronnie with Whip and Chain. I work with Maggie and Lauren to bring you beautiful crochet tutorials. And today we are doing a request. It's the Tunisian crossover stitch. Say that 3 times fast. Now, I'm happen to use cotton, Hobby Lobby cotton, to be more specific. For this, I'm using the vintage green. You can use acrylic yarn for this, but the thicker yarn, I don't think it works out as pretty, but you technically can do it. So I wanted to get you started, show you how to do this beautiful little stitch. And I got my Moo here, so if you hear some noise in the background, you want to say hi to everybody? Say hi. Say, there's my piggy toes. See, that's me being noisy. See, that's my piggy toes. So I got the Moo here. He hasn't been with me doing a video for a while, so it's nice. So I'm making a small swatch, so I am using a regular crochet hook. But you are more than welcome to use your Tunisian hooks if you're going to do a larger project. And this is done in multiples of 3. So do your chain in multiples of 3, as large or as small as you want. When you reach your desired length, add 2. Just 2 more stitches. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to do a little swatch so you can see. And then I'm going to show you what I do. I did a, I'm going to show you how to do a little coaster. Did a simple stitch on the outside of it, but it's pretty. So anyway, so again, multiples of 3. So 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. And 1, 2, and 3. Add 2 when you get your desired length. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to use the back horizontal bars. I like that because it gives it a nice edge, but you don't have to. The second chain from the hook, which would be the second horizontal bar, all we're going to do is go in each one and pull up your yarn. So you go in the bar, pull up yarn, bar, and pull up. So you're just pulling up one loop from each one. Now this is setting your foundation. Take your time. I'm just going into each one and bringing up a loop. Nope. I wanted to yarn over. And make sure you get every chain. Now what I use to keep my edges straight is I use a stitch marker. You don't have to if you know how to read the edge of your project. That is my difficulty. Any project I'm doing, whether it's a small project or an extremely large project, I struggle at identifying my ends after all these years. And I just have come to the conclusion that is my weakness. So a stitch marker keeps me in line. All right. So now you yarn over and you go through one loop. This is your edge. Now, I don't know if you can see that. Let me bring you in a little more. See, it almost looks like a chain. I put my stitch marker through both. Can you see both there? And that marks my edge for me. That way I don't have to play the guessing game of where it is. So now you're just going to wrap and go through 2. And you're going to do that all the way down. Wrap, go through 2, wrap, go through 2, wrap, go through 2, and you just keep doing that all the way down. And you do that until you have one loop left on your hook. Just like that. And that is what it looks like. This is your basically your stage setup. Okay. So now, this horizontal bar right here, that's where your loop's coming out. So you don't do anything on this horizontal bar. The next horizontal bar and everyone after that is the bars we're going to be working in. So the first one, you wrap your hook, you go right through the front of that bar. Grab some yarn and come on through. Now for the next 2, you don't do that. You just go in the bar and you pull up yarn. 1 and 2. All right. Now you count back to your 4th loop. 1, 2, 3, right here, your 4th loop. Right there. You grab it and you pull it over your hook. The first couple rows of this seems like it's a pain in the back, but once you get going, it's not as bad as you think, okay? All right, so that's our setup for that one. Now we're done to our next way. Wrap, you go through the first one, grab yarn, come on through. Now the next 2, you just go through, bring up yarn. Next one, go through, bring up yarn. Okay, you come back to your 4th. 1, 2, 3, 4. You grab it. And you bring it all the way over. So now you wrap, go into your next one. And then next 2, you just go through and you bring up yarn. You come back 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Grab it and go over all 3. Again, wrap, first one, then the next 2 you just go through and bring up some yarn, count back 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, there it is, and go through. Now that should leave you with your end, and this is why I mark it. This can look very confusing, but if it's marked, you just go in where your stitch marker is, wrap your hook and bring up some yarn, and that first row is done. Now you wrap, go through one loop, and see that? right there. Now it's just repeating this. So you wrap, go through 2, wrap, go through 2, go through 2, wrap, and you go through 2, and you do that all the way till you have 1 loop. Do I keep going off camera? Keep wrapping until you go all the way down until you have 1 loop left on your hook. Now all we're going to do is repeat the row that we just did down here. So I'm going to do that with you one more time in case I kind of verged off of camera by accident. So wrap. Now they're in groups, you can see them. Wrap, you go through the first one and bring up some yarn. The next 2 you just go through without wrapping. Okay, count back 4, grab it, and go over your hook. Next group, wrap, go through the first one, and the next 2 you don't wrap, you just go through and pick up yarn. Count back 4 and over. Wrap 1, and the next 2 you just do normal. Count back 4 and make sure you grab it all. Not like I didn't. There we go. The next set, you wrap, bring it through. The next 2, you just bring up standard yarn. Count back 4. You go over. And in your last stitch, if you use a stitch marker like I do, you don't have to dawdle and play around figuring out where it's at. Just need to get your hook in there and bring up yarn. Then you wrap, you go through 1, and then you put your stitch marker in there. And then you wrap and you go through 2, 2, and 2. So it's just repeating this until you get to the desired length that you want. And I do have one of them done to my length because I'm making a coaster. So we're gonna I am going to show you how to cast off when you reach your length. Look at how pretty that is. Okay, so what you do is you put your hook through each loop, you grab some yarn, bring it through and through. That is it. The next one, so you're not wrapping over anything, grab some yarn, bring it through and through. Wrap it through, through, and through. So each one, you do that for each bar. And this very simple casting off method, what's really nice about it, it gives you a beautiful finished edge, where if you want to put a border on your project, it makes it very easy to do that. And this secures your project very, very nicely. You don't have to worry about anything coming loose, stitches coming free. And yeah, that. He's being quiet. Anyway, going through and through. See what I'm doing? Taking my hook through the bar, bringing up yarn, and going through and through. And then after you do all your bars, then you just go into your final chain and take that off. Go through and through. And if you look, see it? And by doing the back horizontal bar that I showed you to start, you got that. And your side has it. And then other side has it. So it is a win, complete win, straight across the board. Now the edging that I like, this is going to be a coaster. What I do is I chain one, then I slip stitch in the next stitch. Slip stitch, chain one, slip stitch, chain one, and it's all slip stitching and chain one, and this gives you a nice textured border. It makes it look finished, but yet you didn't have to go and do something terribly fancy. And that's why I use cotton for my demonstration. Cotton is the best choice for kitchen uses and such. So it's slip stitch, chain one, slip stitch, chain one. So when you get in your corner, it's just a slip stitch, chain one. Slip stitch and chain one. See, I didn't do anything fancy. Slip stitch, chain one. And I'll meet you around when this is done. Okay, here she is. A little wonky because probably my tension changed, but all I'm going to do is block it, wet it, pin it, and it'll be a perfect little rectangle for me for my coasters, and it will keep its shape. But isn't this beautiful? Like, isn't this, like, look at these bars. I mean, my gosh. This is such a beautiful, beautiful stitch. And this was a request on our Whip and Chain Facebook page. So I made sure I did it because I just fell in love with it, and I'm glad somebody found it. But this is how you do it. And if you guys want to learn more Tunisian stitches, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to teach you. This can be made into anything. Pot holders, blankets, scarves, you name it. Dish towels, washcloths, dishcloths. Again, if you're using something that's going to be used like a kitchen or bathroom, please use 100% cotton. Make it a blanket. Obviously, you can use your acrylic yarn. And thank you for watching. It's always a work in progress here at Whip and Chain. Maggie, Lauren, and myself, I'm Ronnie. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to seeing you at our next video. Bye-bye.